Go for a bit of a deep dive into this now. So basically, Bob has asked me to analyze his data from years 2011 to 2015. Now, what I'm looking for throughout that period of time is what were his peak months in terms of his bicycle sales and the amount of sales. So as we can see over here on the left-hand side of the screen, we've got the total monthly bike sales here, and we can see that throughout the period of 2011 to 2015, Bob sold the majority of his bikes in the month of April. So the first thing I would be doing if I was advising Bob as a data analyst on his business, I would be telling him to get more inventory in as far as his bikes go in the months of April, May, and June, because they are the three top months of sales from 2011 through to 2015. Now, if I want to get into it a little bit more, I can just go down into a single year. So 2011, we can sort of see, okay, April was the top month. To 2012 now, we can see again that April was up there. The total quantity was 440 sold, and July was 449 sold. And again here, he's hit 600 in May in 2013. And then we've got a bit of an outlier month here of September, where he hit 570 in 2014, or an outlier month for September. And then we go back to 2015 next, where he's got 672 for April again. So those middle months, or those cooler months in the Australian calendar year, is when Bob is selling the most amount of bikes. Now, if I look down here as a percent of his revenue on our pie chart, next to our line graph that we just went through, basically we can see that April, May, June, July are all above 10% of Bob's annual revenue in those months. So, you've got 4 months all doing over 10% revenue. That's making up half his year's revenue just in 4 months of the year. So if I was advising him, I would be really trying to maximize his sales and his marketing throughout that period. If we have a look down now at the bar graph down the bottom, we can see that through 2011 to 2015, the total number of annual sales that he's made. In this particular data set, Bob hasn't supplied me with revenue data linked to his sales data. So unfortunately, can't give a sort of a total revenue by month or annually in this case, but we can still see the quantity of bikes sold. So from 2011, 3.3K being the lowest year in his first year of business, and 4.8K the last year, 2015, in this business. So it's pretty sort of solid there. Okay, coming next now, we're going to go to his store revenue analysis. So over here, we've got the revenue breakdown, mountain bikes versus road bikes. On the left-hand side, we can sort of see, I've color-coded this. So on yellow, we've got carbon, and on blue, we've got aluminium. Now, as we can sort of see here, his total revenue for this particular store that I'm analysing for him, it's 370.73K total revenue for a calendar year. And we can see the breakdown here of the two sectors. So if I just want to go, okay, well, how much, before I look at anything on this particular dashboard, and I just want to know, okay, of that total revenue, how much contribution did mountain bikes make to the business's annual revenue? So I click on mountain, it's 217.02K. So majority of Bob's Store revenue comes mountain bikes. We go to road, it's 153.71k. So there's a bit of a disparity there, but very much so still a big market for road bikes with his store. Now between carbon and aluminium, throughout this period in 2011 to 2015, we're only just starting to see, because it's historical data, that transition from aluminium into carbon in the bicycle market. So if I go to aluminium, 79.19k, and then we go to carbon, 291.54k. So Bob is selling quite a lot more carbon bikes to his particular customer base. Okay, so if we look at the total revenue by bikes now, cross-country race bikes, 108k, elite road, 68k, endurance road, 56k. So he's really selling a lot of elite-based sort of road bikes, endurance bikes, trail bikes, cross-country race bikes. So probably very much a corporate market there, I would presume, by looking at his data. So total revenue by bike category as a percentage, just down the bottom. What are the most bikes that Bob sells? So I can see here straight away that cross-country race, as we've got up here, is the biggest part of his revenue, and that makes up 29.19%. And elite road makes up 68.48k, which is 18.47%. So they're the two categories there that make up more than half of his annual revenue. So from an inventory perspective, having a good, solid, strong relationship with the supplier that's manufacturing those road bikes would be very advantageous to Bob. And then the final sort of chart we can have a look at, just before I get there, I've also got another slicer on here for Super 6 Evo bikes. So you can sort of have a bit of a look at the breakdowns here of all the different bikes, how much, okay, so made 2.6k, 66k on his CAD disc Ultegra. And we can sort of pinpoint it in our next catch up. And last, we've got a store tree map here just quickly, and it just maps out carbon versus aluminium. What are the bikes? What is the revenue? The larger the size of the box, the greater the revenue, contribution of revenue for selling that bike to the store. And that's Bob's analysis there in a nutshell for today.